welcome to the first inaugural episode of the Lap Down Podcast. I am your host, Greg Farmer, and alongside me is Ben, Justin, and Jayme. We would like to welcome you to this podcast. It is the first one. The music is brought to you by the Alkyli Project. Check out their latest album, The Blood World, on all streaming platforms or wherever you get your music. I just want to take a second.
This is going to be great.
Yes, it is. I just want to take a second real quick. I talked to the other guys about this. There was one person in this entire world who was most supportive of me doing this podcast, and that was my mom. And she wanted to listen to every episode that we recorded, but unfortunately, she was tragically taken from us on Christmas morning 2023. So I would just like to send a dedication out to my mom and hope that you're still listening to us. Now,
we all know that she is. I know this is going to be an emotional one for you, but hey, we all got to start somewhere, and what better way to do it than a dedication episode right off the bat?
Thank you, Jayme. All right, so what we want to talk about first is who we are. As I said, my name is Greg Farmer. I am your host. I am from Dallas, Georgia, and we would like to tell you guys about our all-time favorite NASCAR drivers and how we got to where we are as a racing fan. I grew up as a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan. My entire life since the age of 5, my mom got me into NASCAR at that age, and I was a diehard Junior fan all the way up until he retired. My current favorite driver right now is Alex Bowman in the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. And I came to know him when he took over for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2016 after Junior was out with a concussion. And after that, I pretty much said that Junior was going to pick Bowman to take over the 88 in 2018 when he retired, and that's exactly what he did. And I followed him through the 88 and into the 48 and have been a fan of his ever since.
Bowman the showman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ben next. Ben, who you got?
All right. So, as I first started out, my grandfather actually used to sell clocks to Richard Petty. And I first started out liking Richard Petty and also Kyle Petty. And my dad used to work for DuPont. So I started rooting for DuPont. So I liked Jeff Gordon. And then I also liked Tony Stewart, but not as much as like Jeff Gordon. So as soon as Jeff Gordon retired and Chase Elliott took over for Jeff Gordon's car, I started following Chase Elliott. And my uncle was a big, huge Bill Elliott fan, so I found it kind of neat for me to like Chase Elliott as well. So here I am. And I am from Lincoln, Delaware, and I'm just a stone throw away from Dover.
Nice. Good old Rainbow Warrior, man.
Yeah, I used to love that dude. He was great.
How about Justin? Justin, who's your favorite driver?
Yeah, Bobby Labonte has been my go-to guy ever since I can remember. I've been Bobby Labonte on a Make-A-Wish clip. But for those of you that are out there listening that don't know what Make-A-Wish is, I do have a disability, so therefore I qualified for a Make-A-Wish clip, and Bobby Labonte was my role model growing up, and my current driver, I like Chase Elliott.
Nice. I like Bobby Labonte when I was younger too.
Yeah, I used to like him too, man. Good old interstate batteries.
Yep, and he had a little edge to him too. Him and Tony Stewart could have been good friends, or worse enemies, depending on which Sunday.
Yep, him and Texas Terry.
Yeah.
Terry Labonte, man. Him. Oh.
Oh, I'm from Iowa.
Iowa?
Fear the stash.
Nice.
Terry Labonte, fear the stash.
Oh yeah, Kellogg's car.
Hell yeah, that was a nice car, man.
Yeah, so I used to have I used to have a diecast of that car.
So did I, man. I used to race my cars up and down the hallway of my parents' house, pretending I was
Oh yeah.
racing.
Oh yeah, same here. I had a whole field of cars that I used to race across the carpet, and I had a point
Yep.
system and everything.
Same here, bro. And I put our pillows up against the wall. My mom was like, "Is that a vehicle? Did you hit the wall?" I was like, "Oops."
Meanwhile, you got me sitting in the kitchen floor with about 20 different cars side by side, and I'm using two hands trying to guide them all in circles as I'm spinning myself.
All
So
right.
what about you,
yeah, Jayme, what you got, man?
Yeah, so as you all know, I'm Jayme. I'm from Georgetown, Delaware, so about a rock throw from Lincoln and then another rock throw to Dover. For me, my dad was the bigger NASCAR fan. He loved Dale Earnhardt. He met him multiple times. So when I first started watching, I started rooting for Dale Earnhardt. But I would say my true fandom began when we took a trip to McDonald's in Dover on race weekend, and Bill Elliott and his blue Moonlight car was displayed out there.
That was a pretty
And
car.
million dollar Bill compared to a 7-year-old looked 1,000 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
So meeting him, and he actually lifted me up and let me see the cockpit of the car and let me hit the ignition switch, which was super cool. So he made a loyal fan out of me. So once he stopped racing, I kind of went to Dale Jr. just because he was my dad's favorite driver's son. So I was kind of put that 2 and 2 together. Followed him till he retired, and then I went to Chase Elliott once he started, just to continue my Elliott fanage.
Nice. I met Bill Elliott one time back in, I believe it was, I want to say 2008, 2009. He came to my local dirt track down here in Georgia and ran a super late model memorial race. And he was probably the nicest guy I ever met. Tony Stewart was there too, but he didn't really come out and talk to anybody. I want to say Kenny Schrader was there too, but I can't remember. I was probably 14, 15 years old.
There was one time I met Kyle Petty he was doing autographs at Hershey Park in like 94 or something, maybe 93. And then there was one time my grandfather, like I said, he made clocks for Richard Petty. He took me to go see Richard Petty his museum was right next to his dad's house, where he lived as well. And I missed him by 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
My next door neighbor, when I lived in Lincoln, I always called him by Mr. Joe. So if he ever listens to this, shout out to you, Mr. Joe. But he was the biggest Richard Petty like hybrid fan that I've ever met. Like you could if Richard Petty had a merch on the table, this man had it in his basement.
Nice.
Like it was great. Like he had the stand-ups, he had a replica hat, he had every single variation of the 43 that you could figure out when it came to the toy car. It was insane.
I should have that Kyle Petty autograph somewhere.
I had garage passes to Talladega one time, and they were to the Xfinity Series garage, and I met probably 3/4 of the Xfinity Series field in the race that day, and I got their autographs on hero cards. I met Tyler Reddick, Elliott Sadler, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Norm Benning, Mike Harmon, Spencer Gallagher, like all the guys that were running it that year. I want to say it was 2016. And I met Matt DiBenedetto and Casey Kane up in Charlotte one year.
Casey Kane, that kid, somebody who had a lot of talent, but not the best manufactured help.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was cool about Casey Kane, meeting him, is it was me and my buddy, and we were on the Coca-Cola 600 weekend. And his sprint car shop is right down the street from Junior Motorsports. And we went there, and they had all of his sprint car drivers out there, like Brad Sweet and David Gravel and all them. And he was just walking. He wasn't behind a table. He wasn't surrounded by security or nothing. He was just walking around the shop, talking to fans. He went outside. He actually met me outside. I went and bought a die cast just so he would sign it for me. And he met me outside and was like the nicest person I've ever met.
Dang, man. I'm kind of jealous of that. Hazy King was one of those dudes where like you just saw him on TV and you knew he was just like a very chill dude to be around.
Oh yeah, my brother was super jealous because he was a Casey Kane super fan growing up. Well, all right, let's move into our first topic
Yeah,
of
let's
conversation.
get back on track here. We have plenty of time to get on rabbit holes.
Yep. Our first topic of conversation tonight is going to be new faces and new places. Now, obviously, we're going into the 2024 season, and Daytona is rapidly approaching. We are some 47 days away from the Daytona 500. The biggest move of the offseason that pretty much everybody saw coming was Noah Gragson is coming back to the Cup Series to drive the number 10 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. He is replacing Eric Almirola, who will be going to the Xfinity Series to run part-time for Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, for those of you who don't know, Noah was suspended mid-2023 after it was revealed on social media that he, quote-unquote, liked a meme that some people considered offensive, and NASCAR suspended him indefinitely, and he was reinstated just about a month or two ago, and after completing sensitivity training and all that. So my question to you guys is, how do you think he is going to perform in the 10 car, considering it would be maybe a step up from the equipment that he was in 2023? I'll start with Ben.
Which manufacturer is it? Because I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it.
Stewart-Haas is Ford.
Okay. Oh, Stewart-Haas? Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he already has the talent already. He already showed it last season. Well, he raced last season, didn't he? Yeah, last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, he ran about half the season before he got suspended, and it was kind of subpar, if you would say.
It was lackluster. We'll just call it for what it is.
Now he was dominant in the Xfinity Series.
I'm trying to find the list of all the drivers. I can't find the list on NASCAR's website. So crap. Here we go. Hold on. Of course, they don't have all the standings for Noah Gragson on here. Go figure. I was going to try to look them up a little bit. But I feel like if he's with Stewart-Haas, he has a better chance of performing since they have better equipment. And he has also better drivers around him. So I feel like he's going to improve. And he could be a top 15 driver. I'm not going to say he's going to be a playoff, but he can be top 15 at least. Close to top 15.
Okay. Justin, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I got a couple. I think the kid really deserves a second chance, and with his crew case pairing Rufus with their crew, I think that team will be okay, and you'll see him win 5 or 6 races.
In 2024 or overall?
Overall.
Okay. I mean, I honestly think he's going to win more than 5 or 6 races in his career.
I mean, sorry, in 2024.
No, it's okay.
Oh, that should be a bold.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction
he's going to win four races this year, JP? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
These websites aren't updated at all.
He's going big. Jayme, what about you?
I mean, the thing about Gragson is, like, yes, he was dominant in the Xfinity Series, but we've seen countless of drivers perform well in the Xfinity Series, but then come up to the Cup Series and just get overwhelmed with the talent that is in the Cup Series. However, I think a lot of his struggles had to do with the equipment that he had. Gragson is not a driver who is going to make the manufacturer better. He's a product of the equipment that he has, and I think it'll, especially with the different changes that Ford is going through with the season, I think it's going to be a slow start for a lot of the Ford drivers. But I don't know. He's going to definitely finish better than he did last year. He's going to be, I'd say, probably in the later half of of the season, you'll start seeing him trickling more into the top 15, top 10s. Maybe sneak a win somewhere on the restrictor plates, because he's a good restrictor plate driver. But
Yeah.
a lot of his success is going to come to Andy Houston. Andy Houston's a great crew chief, and I think that.
I'm
Go
actually
ahead.
looking at Wikipedia, and it lists Drew Blickensturfer.
Yeah, that's who I said.
I don't even see the guy you just mentioned. He's not on there. Rodney Childers is for Josh Berry, and it actually looks like, according to this, looks like Noah Gragson and Chase Briscoe are going to probably be the main people of this.
So Andy Houston's a spotter.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Houston, good spotter.
Yeah.
Sorry to be the interruption.
He's a spotter.
So,
yeah, my bad. Hey, keep me honest.
No, that's okay. So before I give my thoughts, I have a question for you guys. Who do you think will be his primary sponsor for 2024? Because obviously, with the whole, offensive meme thing, it's kind of like the whole Kyle Larson deal. He didn't really pick up a whole lot of sponsors when he came back to the Cup Series. So who do you think will pick up Noah?
Hold on here.
Well, I'll start. I think it's going to be hard for Noah.
Yeah, there's no Betcha Reality type of. We lost Greg. There's no mention of him signing any type of deal for a sponsor on Wikipedia. However, I feel like it's going to be like the whole entire situation right now with oh jeez, his name is slipping my mind right now. But Larson, I think it's going to be just like how they are doing with Larson. They'll probably do maybe shared sponsors, or maybe the first year would be Stewart Haas Racing sponsors.
Yeah, I think with that, I mean, we kind of saw with Kyle Larson, right? For the longest time, he had Hendrick Cars as like his main sponsor, because that was Rick Hendrick's own brand.
Think of this way. Actually, you know what? Stewart owns SRS Racing, right?
Yeah.
He could do SRS Racing sponsorship on it, couldn't he?
I think he could. But I would have to see like what main sponsors like SHR has. Let me see here. As we're stalling to get Greg back on here.
Welcome, Rumble.
How's it going?
It's going great, Rumble. It's glad to hear. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. While we're waiting for
favorite driver currently, who you used to like when you grew up, and who you currently like, and why.
Okay.
Whatever you want to share.
All right. So I'm Rumble. I grew up on the west coast of Canada here, and we're not really big on racing out here. We're a bunch of... Anyways, we're not really big on racing out here, and I've been a racing fan since I was... Like, my dad took me to the racetrack when I was like 12, and there was burning tires and oil and gasoline, and I was in love forever. It's been a long time too. I mean, I'm 51. First time I went to a track, I was like 11 or something. So it's been a long time doing this. What else would you like me to say about myself? I live out here in close to Vancouver, BC, Canada. So
that's awesome.
I like it.
So tonight, I'm sorry, I'm running late here. I was just running in a league race for people.
Oh, you're good. So we're still on the topic of new faces and new places.
Yeah.
And what do you think your overall perception of Noah Gragson's season is going to look like in 2024, driving in the 10 car for Stewart Haas?
I think it's actually going to do very well. I mean, Gregson's a good driver, right? I mean, he didn't get there because he doesn't have no talent. So I think he'll do very well. I don't think it's going to be what people expect it to be. I don't think it's going to be top shelf, but I think he'll be there. It's hard struggling getting fast race cars in this series, right?
Yeah, and I mentioned that with Grayson because we've seen a lot of cars, a lot of people coming from Xfinity to the Cup Series who have all the hype,
Right.
but once they get acclimated to the talent that's in the Cup Series, it can get either overwhelming or it takes them some time to find their footing and start to perform the way that they used to.
Absolutely, it's deep water, right? You're swimming in deep water
Yeah.
there, and that's what it is.
And then, Greg, you're back. So to answer your
Yes.
question, as far as a sponsor for Grayson, I actually did some research, and Ryan Preece last year ran about 12 races for HaasTooling.com. So if they can't find any main sponsors going into it, I'd imagine that would probably be his main sponsor for a little while, similar to how Kyle Larson used HendrickCars.com.
Okay, I got you. Now that's a good prediction.
But that's my thought and opinion.
Yeah.
Granted, they could pull out left side because I was looking at like some of the sponsors that Harvick had, and Bush is going to Ross Chastain. Hunt Brothers is likely to join Joey Logano. So there's not a lot of main sponsorship that was sticking around once Harvick left. So that's
Like-
the biggest challenge for him.
And like I was throwing around at Jayme, maybe SRS Racing could be a sponsor, maybe perhaps.
Yeah. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We
So, all right. So I'm gonna give my thoughts real quick before we move into the next one, and I'm gonna go on a bold prediction, NASCAR conspiracy theory here, real quick.
Ooh,
Fire away.
I love
Um,
conspiracy theories.
Fire away.
So I believe that Grayson will do good. You know, like Jayme and Ben said, like he's not going to be contending for a win every single week,
I
but
don't
he'll
think so.
probably squeak in. He'll probably squeak in some top 10s, top 15s, and stuff like that. But if you look at the broad spectrum of things, this is the last year that Stewart-Haas Racing has signed with Ford. So they will either stick with Ford after 2024, or there's been a lot of people that have been wanting Dale Jr. to come to the Cup Series with Junior Motorsports, but he's not going to buy a charter because they're upwards of $40 to $50 million right now.
For a charter. Yes, absolutely.
So what my prediction is in 2025, Dale Jr. buys into Stewart-Haas Racing and becomes a co-owner, and Stewart-Haas Racing switches to Chevy, and he gets Grayson and Noah back as quote unquote his drivers.
All right. Bow ties to the front. I'm all good with that.
All right, and on that topic, our next driver change is still with Stewart-Haas Racing. Josh Berry was announced actually very early in 2023.
Right.
That he would be graduating from the Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports to take over the 4-car for Kevin Harvick, who is now retired. Harvick will be moving to a TV role with Fox Sports. Now, Josh did have a few starts in 2023 driving the 9-car after filling in for Chase Elliott, who had the broken leg in the snowboarding incident. I think it was like either right before or right after Auto Club last year.
I gotta laugh. It's just
And
snowboarding incident.
he actually did fairly well in that car. Now, granted, I've heard from other podcasts and stuff like that the Cup Series is kind of like the Truck Series. They're very, very aerodynamic dependent, and the cars are easier to drive, just like the trucks and stuff like that. And the Xfinity Series is a totally different animal. So, starting with Ben, how do you think Josh Berry will fare in his first full-time season in the next-gen Cup car?
I'm excited to see how he does. I think he did a really good job helping out with Hendrick last year. Honestly, he's probably one of the better rookies in the field, and I think he could be he could be in the playoffs.
I think if they put it together, he's got a real chance. Like, there's a reason why he's here at this point right now. He's got a
He earned it.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah.
It's not just bullshit. So I think he's got a legitimate chance.
Yep. Justin, what about you?
JP, what about you? What say you, JP?
JP.
Maybe he's doing
JP's
something.
got some technical issues, so I'll go ahead and go.
Yeah,
and
go ahead,
if he
Jayme.
gets back in, then we'll then finish up before we close the segment. I think Josh Berry is one of those kids. He has some grit to him, and you don't really find that in a lot of these younger drivers. The thing that I think is mucho beneficial for Josh Berry is the support and leadership that he has around him. So you got Rodney Childers being his crew chief. Then they stole Eddie DeHaan from Hendrick. So when he filled in for Chase, Eddie DeHaan was the one who was spotting for him during those races. So that was a major win for Stewart Haas Racing in general, to get somebody of that from another caliber team to come in with a young driver.
Absolutely.
So that's going to help him out. I honestly think probably at the midway point, Josh Berry is going to have one, maybe 2 wins.
I was thinking the same thing.
Come the halfway point.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh,
What about you, JP?
There's JP.
Hey, there's JP.
Back.
All right,
so
JP,
we're talking
what
about.
are your thoughts on Josh Berry?
Yeah, Josh Berry.
So I have a fear. Okay, Josh Berry, in my eyes, will have 3 wins and be the first rookie to win the championship. And let me tell you why.
Why?
He was really impressive in that 9 car. That kid knows how to drive a race car. He's got running killers as his cookie. So I see no reason that 4 team should not be up there battling for wins and possibly be the title.
I like
So you
that
think as a young
prediction.
kid coming in, he's just going to instantly step in, overshoot Denny Hamlin,
Right.
overshoot
Right.
Kyle Larson,
Right.
Chase Elliott, even getting some run-ins with Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace and Joey Logano. You think he's just going to come in and just trump all of them and steal a championship year one? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that kid was really impressive in the scores he got in that 9 car. So he's got that never give up attitude. So
you know what that is, Greg?
What's that?
That is bold, and
That is very bold.
He sounds like he's been drinking himself some bulletproof coffee.
JP, if you hit on,
for those that
you hit on that
for
shit.
those that don't know, Bulletproof Coffee is one of our sponsors. You can find it in the link below from the podcast. If you never had Bulletproof Coffee, do it. It is very delicious, and they do a lot more than just coffee as well.
Well, how much is it going to cost me to get it shipped up there to Canada? That's what I need to know. I'll drink their coffee.
I'll send you a link. Give me 1 second.
There you go.
All right, before we close the segment out, we have to talk about a little bit of breaking news from a few days ago. On New Year's Eve, December 31st, NASCAR Hall of Famer Cale Yarborough passed away at the age of 84.
Man.
Cale Yarborough totaled 83 wins during his 31-year career. That is 5th all-time on NASCAR's all-time win list.
Absolutely.
He had 69 poles in his career, which ranked 3rd all-time, and he also won the Daytona 500 4 times, which is 2nd only to Richard Petty's 7 wins in the Daytona 500.
Absolute warrior.
He retired from NASCAR in 1980 after winning 6 races, but after that, he also competed in open wheel racing, including 4 appearances in the famous Indianapolis 500. He retired from racing for good in 1988, and he owned Cale Yarborough Motorsports that competed in the Cup Series until 2000. And then after that, he made sporadic appearances at the track and was inducted in NASCAR's inaugural Hall of Fame class, I believe, in 2010.
I didn't know that. He made 4 appearances. Like, he raced 4 500s? Yeah?
Yes, he did.
Wow, I didn't know that. Now I've got even more respect for this man. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and little fun fact: the Cale Yarborough is actually one of the co-responsible people for putting NASCAR on the TV map.
Yep,
Do you know why?
I do, and I'd be happy to tell you why.
I do
I
not.
want to see
I
if
do
anybody
not
else
know,
knows
but
why.
fire away. Let me
And
know.
it was the 1979 Daytona 500. The entire eastern seaboard was snowed in due to a massive
Right.
snowstorm, so they decided to broadcast the NASCAR Daytona 500 flag to flag. It was the first ever broadcast flag to flag for the 500.
The fight.
And him and Donnie Allison
Yes,
were
the
going
fight.
down the backstretch on the last lap, and they tangled going into turn 3 and ended up in the infield grass. And Richard Petty went on to take the win, but that was overshadowed by Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison getting into a full-on fisticuffs in the infield grass.
Yes, sir.
The good
The
old
fight
Best way
heard around the
to put
world.
NASCAR on the map is
the good old
doing
days.
bumper to bumper racing and then fist the cuffs right after.
The good old days.
And if you haven't checked it out, you can find it right on YouTube. So
Yep.
if you want to see some old school fisticuffs, that's where you need to find it. It definitely was entertaining to watch.
All right.
Old school cars.
All right, we are going to move into our next segment.
I do have a pop-up trivia question.
Okay, fire away.
So this will be open for all of you guys, and we'll go in our traditional style, starting with Greg, on who your answer is going to be. Who
All right.
has the most consecutive championships in NASCAR Cup Series?
That would be Jimmie Johnson with 5.
Man, yeah.
And when did he do it?
He's probably right. He's probably right.
I would say probably Jimmie Johnson as well.
I would
Yeah,
say
he's
Jamie
probably right.
Johnson.
Yeah, he's probably
And
right.
who is second?
Who would be second on getting 5 consecutives in?
Who would be the second most?
That would, I believe, was Cale Yarborough.
You are correct.
Are you? Yeah, okay, that's nice. Well, good on him.
Cale Yarborough, before Jimmie Johnson, was the leader with 3 consecutive NASCAR titles, ranging from 76 to 78.
That's pretty fucking impressive, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Which was almost unheard of back in those days.
of course, right?
It was, and Dale Earnhardt could have been it, but he would get to 2 back-to-backs, and then somebody would steal one from him in between.
Yep. All right. We're going to move into our next segment. This segment is called Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Oh.
And this segment is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics, where you can buy all of your sports apparel. If you're looking for your 2024 NASCAR merch apparel, click the link in our description of this podcast and go buy your 2024 NASCAR apparel. Rumble, what you got
if
for
Mel
us
Gregson
today?
never gets a sponsor, you can find on Fanatics.
All right, I'm waiting for it. So, what do I have for you today? I was actually going to fire off with the Laguna thing, but that's actually not where I'm at. Let's talk about the Busch Clash there. At LA, the LA Coliseum. I looked today. What is it? It's 150 laps and it equals to 37.5 miles. What is going on here? What are we doing in racing? It's silly. I look forward to your guys' opinions, but I've been watching NASCAR for like 30 years, and to have it happening like that is just goofy. It's just goofy. It's the tiniest track in the world, and it actually kind of pisses me off. What are we doing here?
So it's got you rumbling a little bit.
It's got me rumbling a little bit, and
I will answer that question first. So I grew up with NASCAR in the mid to late 2000s and 2010s and stuff. And I grew up with the Clash at Daytona 2 weeks before the Daytona 500.
Right.
Now, when they announced that it was going to the LA Coliseum, I thought it was going to be kind of stupid because you're building a quarter-mile track inside a football stadium and all that. Now, when they did the race the first time, I thought it was pretty cool because they really did open up a new market.
Right.
But
Absolutely. I agree with you there.
I believe it's worn out its welcome. I believe NASCAR should put it back at Daytona and go back to the traditional style format. You have 2 weeks of speed weeks. You get the Clash.
Yes.
And the next week you get pole qualifying on Sunday. Then you have your practices. Then you have your duels on Thursday, and then you race the 500 the next Sunday.
Agreed. And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I was actually looking just today, and I'm like, it's so annoying to watch them race. And there's my local track. It's in Agassiz, BC. It's a quarter mile. It's the exact same thing, and it would be ridiculous to have NASCARs there because they don't fucking belong there. They can't even get up to fuck. Anyways, does that make sense?
It's smaller than Bristol.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Ben, what's your thoughts?
Make sense. I think it's dumb. I think it looks like little RC cars out there trucking along. It looks dumb, and it's just a publicity stunt. That's all it is.
That's exactly what it is. It is. Please come watch NASCAR. You guys that live in LA. It makes no sense because for you and me, and I think everybody in this conversation right now, like I said again, I am 51 years old, but I'm all about the tradition, and let's go run the Busch Clash like we always did. What are we doing at the LA Coliseum? It makes no sense to me. It makes sense to 8 people that might become fans. Does that make sense to you? I don't know. It pisses me off. And that's why I wanted to bring this up first, actually, because
it's just a lot of celebrities show up, and that's it.
It just doesn't make sense.
All right, JP, what's your take on it?
Well, they need to announce, if they're going to move things around, move it around or keep it in one spot. Go back to Daytona, have it be the traditional Daytona speed weeks, or if they are going to make changes, move it around.
Yeah, like they should do with the All-Star race. The All-Star race should move around, in my opinion.
I agree with that notion. I've been saying that for years.
Yep, move it around.
Y'all are gonna love me.
Jayme, go ahead.
Y'all are gonna love me. Me personally, I enjoyed it. I did.
What, the Busch Clash?
I enjoyed the fact that I enjoyed the Busch Clash. I enjoyed the fact that they somehow managed to fit it inside a football field. I enjoyed the celebrity talent that they had during the intermissions, kind of, because not gonna lie, during like the Busch Clash, when there was like intermissions and stuff like that, I could care less like what was going on between.
It was definitely a spectacle compared to what NASCAR usually does. It was reaching out to a bunch of people that they don't.
It's out of the box thinking.
Absolutely,
and I think NASCAR needs to do that to get some of the younger eyes on the competition. However, since we're talking about 2024, something that I do like that they're doing that I don't think is getting enough publicity is not only are they doing the Busch Light Clash, but they are also adding the NASCAR Mexico series. So not a lot of people knew that there was NASCAR in Mexico, that they had their own series in Mexico. And now on a televised stage, they're going to be able to showcase their second product. And that second product of the Mexico series, they're going to have their drivers driving. They're going to have their own race during the intermission between the two clashes, and I think that is really cool. And not only will fans see the stars of all their favorite superstars, but then they'll get to see the talent that's in a whole nother country that no one really knew existed until now.
Fair enough.
How come we don't?
Fair enough. I like that.
I like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm impressed that they were able to fit a NASCAR track inside a football stadium. And granted, when they first did the Busch Clash at LA Coliseum, they announced that 80% of the tickets sold were people who had never attended a NASCAR race before.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I have with that is that those people who attended that race are not going to travel more than 100 miles to go to a different race. They're going to stay local
And listen,
to
you
what
are,
they're used to.
You are bang on, and I would like to thank you for saying that, because you are dead straight on. Again, we're going to talk about Logano here shortly. NASCAR fans are they're rabid. They'll get on a plane, they'll fly across the country to get and see a race. Nobody else is getting on a plane to go watch an NBA game, or right? Like you'd have to be a rabid fan to go do that. So
I drove 7.5 hours to go to Bristol twice in a year. Two times.
NASCAR fans are dedicated fans, and they always have been. And there's no reason for us to get away from what made us the best fans of any sport, right?
So I don't disagree with you there, Rumble. I do not disagree about the NASCAR fan base and how ravaged they are and how loyal they are. However, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, because obviously I have a different perception than everybody else in this. And I think that number, 80% of the people who have bought tickets had never seen a NASCAR race. That is a huge win for NASCAR, because that's 80% of their clientele who potentially can become fans. And yes, maybe they were there solely for the talent that was going to be singing, not necessarily what was going to be on the track. But everyone has to start somewhere. There has to be a drawing point to get them interested in it. And now with people like Michael Jordan and Pitbull and other Floyd Mayweather, other superstars from other areas getting into NASCAR, having partnerships in their teams, all that's going to do is just attract more of a younger fan base. And sometimes you have to do things that are kind of out of pocket compared to what we're used to. And I don't see any reason why they should stop doing this at the Coliseum until numbers just drop. But that's just my opinion.
All right, but and you're not wrong. You got to draw new people in, but I don't think a race at the Coliseum there in LA is how you draw them in. I don't think the people there get to see a fucking whole ass NASCAR doing what it does. You're getting to see it do a quarter of what it does, right? Like I'd rather, you know what they need is
it's like a sneak peek.
What they need is a big old fucking racetrack down there in Southern California and bring the fucking people there. I don't know what else to say about that.
Would you have rather have been a road course through San Francisco?
I don't know. Do you think that would work? I don't think it would.
I don't think it would either.
I
think putting it inside the Coliseum is a big drawing point, because it had never been done.
Right.
And now that we've seen it, I'm excited to see what kind of changes they're going to make to it, if any at all.
But it was the very first time it happened was an exhibition race, and we're doing this again and again. And I don't think that's where it belongs. It was an exhibition race. And tell me I'm wrong. You guys, would you rather not watch this play out at a real racetrack and not the Coliseum in LA? I'm an old school NASCAR guy. I'd rather see this play out on a real racetrack than this. It's an exhibition race.
Where was the All-Star race at? This past year, Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
Wilkesboro. And that would make more sense.
I mean, if you're looking at the racing between Wilkesboro and the stadium, it's pretty similar. There's only one groove. You have to shove somebody out of the way in order to get there. It's just a slightly bigger track. So if we're doing comparisons, like, people love Wilkesboro, but they hate on the stadium. It's the same exact driving style. So with a slightly less track.
You know that everybody that's sitting here watching racing will all find a reason to bitch because something didn't go fucking right. You know, some went wrong, some went left. Right?
That is the truest statement.
It's the truth. We'll find something to bitch about it and say it's not right.
We will.
Okay.
I mean, they could have done a race in downtown. I wouldn't have said San Francisco, but like LA.
I'm not a fan of what's going on there and the Chicago street course. I hate that shit. But I'm old school, you guys. I want to see. I always want to be turning left, otherwise it's the Glen or it's Sonoma. I'm an
Well,
old fucking racing guy.
Rumble, I got a
I would-
question for you and you only.
Fire
Well,
away, JP.
Everyone can kind of get the Rumble concept, but Rumble, what is your bold prediction for Iowa Speedway? Are you rumbling about that? Are you rumbling in a good way, or are you wishing that they didn't come to Iowa?
Well, I'd be rumbling about it because I ain't been there yet, and I've been to Iowa many times, so I don't know how I didn't end up at the track. So that's what I'm rumbling about. I got other shit to rumble about too. So
Well, I got a question for you, Rumble, real quick.
fire away.
You said you're a traditional NASCAR guy, right?
I am.
Okay, so we've already heard you rumble about the LA Coliseum. How do you feel about NASCAR going from the LA Coliseum for the Clash to the Daytona 500 on a super speedway, and then the very next week racing at Atlanta, which is another now drafting style track?
That's actually, you know what? I got one thing to say about that. I sure wish they'd put a fucking update on my NASCAR E5 so I could race fucking the new Atlanta, because that's a fucking super speedway, man. I love it. And so the couple
It
races,
should have been a super speedway
listen,
all the time.
the couple races I have watched at there now, it's as a fan. And you know what? I'm gonna call it the absolute truth here. As a spectator, if you are my mom or my dad or anyone that doesn't care about racing, you want to watch racing where it's crazy. They're bumping fenders. They're fucking people are flying through the air. That's what they want to see, and that's what NASCAR wants to do. But every single race car driver doesn't want to do that because they don't want to be flying through the fucking air and dying, right? So
I always loved Atlanta, man. I always consider Atlanta a speedway.
But
Anyway.
I sure wish they had the new one on our game, because I would love to race there, because I've watched the new Atlanta is super speedway shit. I don't care what anybody. It's super speedway shit. That's hauling fucking ass.
I attended both Atlanta races last year.
Did you? Yeah, man, you are lucky as shit,
dude. So I have to say, the spring race was okay.
Yeah.
The summer race at night was absolutely incredible.
Right.
They never separated from what you call the pack once during the night until the rain came.
Yeah.
And I took my kids for the very first time, and it was their first ever race.
Oh,
and
awesome.
my 3-year-old daughter watches it on TV and loves it. My son's just getting into it. They were on the edge of their seat the entire race.
That's awesome. That's super awesome, man. Fuck, I wish I had my kids out there. Yeah, that's awesome, buddy.
So what else you got to rumble about?
Rumble.
Oh, we got to talk about Joe Logano and how he called us all spoiled race fans because we have too much access to him. We have too much access to him. He said we could literally get pictures 5 minutes from him sitting in his car.
What a pansy.
The guy's the biggest bitch in the entire fucking sport. So I guess that was my point. He's such a fucking whiner, that guy. Anyways.
Well, I can't stand Logano to begin with, and 2 NASCAR fans are not spoiled. If you want like pre-race access, you're still going to pay out the yin yang to even get close to the drivers and the cars on pit road.
Back in the day, that you guys all are well aware of, is you could actually go to the track and meet your driver and get your shit signed, and he's trying to compare it to NFL people, and it's a whole different thing. It's apples to oranges. You're actually talking about going to meet your guy. And if you actually look at it, if you go get NHRA tickets, you can go down there and watch them rebuild their cars standing right there. They fire that shit up and you get to stand there and see it. Again, I think Joe Logano's got a whiny mouth on him, and he pisses me off. I'll leave it at that.
He has a stick up his ass.
I think so, right? Like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, You're a millionaire with beautiful houses and shit. You're whining about your fans. And then he tried to walk it back the next week. And he said that some of us were uneducated. I'm sorry, Joey. I'm uneducated. You fucking asshole. He's such an asshole, man. Like, you're driving a race car and you're getting paid huge money to drive a race car. Like, fucking smile and wave what you mean. You don't fucking call me names.
I can
He's such an
understand if he was.
asshole, man.
I can understand if it's an F1 driver.
He's scared to wave because
exactly.
that hair's going to fly off.
Right? That too. That chick come flying right off at any time.
Ben, you got any thoughts on it?
He's just a bitch.
I mean, straight to the point.
Ben was never so more effective with quite so few words.
I got
JP?
two people to flip off at Bristol now.
So I'm not sure if we touched on this yet, but how do y'all feel about the NASCAR hybrid race cars coming down the pipeline for us?
So you actually touched on something, Rumble. This was going to be our backup conversation if you didn't show up. So since you're here, let's go ahead and talk about it, Greg.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
Because
Let's
it's on my mind. It's on my mind. And that's one thing I was thinking we should talk about.
All right, so are we talking about the manufacturers or the hybrids?
I'm talking about the hybrids. Once you go to hybrid racing, I'm probably not going to be a fan anymore, and I'm just going to my local short track on Saturday night because I don't care what NASCAR thinks about hybrid fucking racing. Let's have the best of the best all the fucking time. And just like F1 has an E, right? They have an E series. Go ahead, NASCAR, have a fucking E series, but don't fuck up our good shit. Don't fuck up our good shit.
Well, from what I've been hearing about the hybrids and stuff is that might be its own independent series with, I would guess, developmental drivers. I don't think it's going to be like incorporated into the Cup Series or the Xfinity Series just yet.
I sure hope not.
From what I've been reading, they were maybe leaning towards some sort of like electrification thing inside the Cup cars, kind of like a push to pass like the Indy cars have.
I've heard the same thing. Yes, along the same lines. Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that because basically what the push to pass does in the Indy cars is it gives you like an extra 10 to 15 horsepower, and you can only use it on a straightaway. If you're going to add horsepower, just go ahead and add another 200 horsepower to the cars and make them harder to drive and make the drivers actually work for it.
There you go. So there you go. So I am a purist on this idea. You don't add an extra drag reduction system, whatever. You don't add that shit. Just give it to them the whole time, so everybody can race as fast as they want to the whole time.
The thing is, we're getting into a day and age where they're adding more and more road courses, which I am actually a fan of. Okay. I enjoy road course racing, and if that is the direction that they're going and they implement it for the road course races only, I am a big fan of that because that adds a whole new dynamic to the road course racing. And a lot more opportunities can be had with guys who may have good cars, but they're just stuck behind a Ryan Newman-esque driver who is just impossible to get past.
So I almost sound like a noob here. Is that in the F1 game, the video game, they have the boost thing? I guess you can use it near the end. Is that what that is? I'm guessing?
Yes, that's the push to pass.
Okay.
It's the push to pass, which I also have to say this out loud so everybody, if this is being recorded, I think the idea of a push to pass button while you're racing is just redonkulous. It's stupid. The whole car should be push to pass the whole time.
So you're not a fan of IndyCar?
I am a fan of IndyCar, and actually, they used to race here in my city. I hate the idea of a drag. So, was it F1 that's a drag reduction system? A push to pass. The push to pass should be on all the cars all the time. We're racing, right? Like, we want the best thing the whole time, right? Like, does that not make sense? Like, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to 75% of the race, I'm going to have a motor that's fucking crippled instead of being as fast as it can be. The whole point is to race. Why would you have a push to pass? It doesn't make
The,
sense.
the
It's
push to
kinda like
pass is
having-
more of a strategy piece. It's
kinda like
everybody
having-
has the same amount of push to pass in all their cars, so you still have the manufacturer
Right.
and
So
team and the team builds that makes them fast. But the push to pass adds that extra strategic dynamic of, okay, now we're getting into the final 15 laps. I now know that I still have 80% of my push to pass because we have had just a solid car moving around. I'm sitting here in second place. I know the guy in front of me only has about maybe 40
Right.
to 30. So I'm
Right.
going to use that to my advantage, and I'm going to use this to get around him and be able to be on the button a lot more. And so from a strategy standpoint, I see why they have it, and I enjoy it because IndyCar uses that a lot.
So we disagree because I feel like every car should have that advantage the entire time, the whole time we're racing.
They do. Every car has a quote unquote
but there's
100% barometer of push to pass.
But there's no need to have a button to push to push to pass. The whole car should be like that the whole time. There should be no push to pass. There should be the cars flat out and race.
I will say, as somebody who's been to 2 Indy 500s and has seen them use it at the Indy 500,
Yeah,
it is phenomenal to watch. And
I believe
when you see it hands on, especially at a super speedway like Indy, I think it would change your opinion if you saw it firsthand. That's just me, but we'll call it right there. JP, what's your thought on push to pass? You and Ben and Greg.
Ooh, push to pass. Well, I don't watch much Indy, but what I do know about it is I don't think it would be good on NASCAR cars. Simply, it's because too much of an advantage. Too many people have died when they make changes like that, and yeah. So
Okay, so you're looking at it from just a safety perspective. I can understand that.
I could
Yeah.
see it being usable on road courses.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I could too because road courses need to be more
Not all,
interesting.
yeah, but not on like super speedways or any kind of oval tracks. Not even Bristol. Like it's just too dangerous. I agree with JP. It can be a little dangerous. I mean, especially if it's added on an extra 10 miles per hour. Is that what you said?
It's
It can
like
go to.
it adds like 10 to 15 more horsepower, which is I would say probably 15 to 20 mile an hour difference.
Yeah. So I mean that could be dangerous, especially if you're at Daytona and you go into that corner and you don't realize how much more horsepower you have.
Well, I would
But
argue
also at the
it's-
same time, like if you're at a track like Bristol, there ain't no reason to have push to pass at Bristol because you're in the gas for like 4 seconds and then you're off the gas.
Yeah,
I would argue it's less dangerous if everybody has the same amount of power because you're all going to find yourself in the same corner doing the same thing. You know, you're not separated. Oh, there's the loser guy that's going to be 15 miles an hour. No, you're going to get cleaned out by that shit. So, anyways, it should all be even. There should be no push to pass in my world. There push to pass seems like what do they call that movie? The fucking all those drifting guys. Anyways, that
Go
one.
drift.
As if our NASCAR Heat 5 races were any more hectic. Just add a JP getting ready to go lap down, and he uses all of his push to pass to stay in front of
Right?
the leader.
Okay, it's go time. It's go time. Let's go.
Fast
All right.
Again.
And with that, we will move into our final segment of the night. This is our Dubby Energy's bold predictions.
Bold.
Do you need an energy boost during the day? Pick up some Dubby Energy. Click the link in our description to pick up some Dubby Energy today. All right.
Dubby.
Don't forget to
So
use our promo code
And what is that promo code, Ben?
SSPP10.
SSPP10.
PP10.
All right. So our Dubby Energy bold prediction for this week, week 1, will be who is your early championship for and who walks away with the championship in 2024, starting with Ben.
I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna say Chase Elliott is on a revenge tour. I say he's going to walk away with 5 wins and a championship.
Who's going to be the rest of the final 4?
Yeah.
I'm going to give Josh Berry top 5. I'm going to go with Bowman at 4. Give me Kyle Busch at 3 and Larson at 2.
So you're saying in the final 4, there's going to be three Hendricks in the final 4.
Yep. Exactly.
Ooh.
All right.
He's expecting some
Rumble.
big things from Hendrick.
Always
Rumble,
every year,
who-
man. They're pretty good.
Rumble, who are your championship 4, and who
Well,
walks away with the title?
I'm only picking one. It's Ross Chastain. That's it.
Who do you think's going to make the final 4 with him?
That would be Chase. That would be. I'm gonna go with William Byron there, and fuck, I don't even know who the 4th is, but they'll be up there.
Ooh.
So how does let me ask you this, Rumble, since you got Ross Chastain win the championship, how does he win it? Is he going to push somebody out of the way, or is he just going to use it through sheer horsepower?
I think he's just gonna use fucking sheer horsepower, and he's gonna kick ass, man. Because the man's a driver. Have you seen it? He's good.
Dubby Bowl.
Melon Man.
Yeah, the Melon Man. He's a driver.
Here he comes to wreck your day. Melon Man.
Now,
All right.
Funny. I've been thinking about this for a couple days now, and yeah, I'm going with Chastain.
All right.
There you go.
All right, JP, who's your picks?
my picks will be the one, Ross Chastain. Sorry, Rumble. I have to agree with you, Dave.
All right.
But I'm going to go out on a limb. Alex Bowman.
Bowman as the champion?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And
All right.
Didn't you just earlier say that Josh Berry was going to win it? And you're already second guessing it?
well, he's in my top 2.
Oh, got him.
All right, so Barry is second. Who's your other 2?
And Alex, I said Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott, and I think the 10 of the before mentioned
Noah Gregson?
Noah Grayson.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Wow, that's
that's
really bold.
interesting. That is interesting. Who's yours? Who's yours,
Basically,
Greg?
Hendrick versus SHR. Now, Jayme, you pick first.
Oh, you want to be the closer. All right, I got you. So, with 2024, obviously there's going to be some car changes coming up for Toyota and Ford, which I think is going to benefit more of the Chevy drivers in the first half of the year. However,
Yeah.
my final 4, I see everyone's picking Chase Elliott. I'm a Chase Elliott fan, but I don't think he makes it into the final 4. He'll be in the top 8. He's not making it into the final 4. Kyle Larson's going to be in there. Just too much talent with him. The man's got more talent in his pinky than I have in my entire body. So
Where do you want to place him in the championship standings?
in the championship standings, he is going to be second.
All right.
Third is going to be Denny Hamlin. He's going to finally make it into the final 4. Fourth is going to be Bubba Wallace. I liked a lot of what Bubba Wallace has been doing from career growth. He learned a lot about himself last year, figured out how to get over that hump and win a couple races. And I think that what 2311 is doing is they're doing some really good things. And I see both 2311 cars making it into the final 4, with your winner being Tyler Reddick.
Wow. That's a
wow.
that's a really
Mhm.
bold prediction. That's swinging
Wow.
for the fucking fences there.
All right. So my picks.
2311's just got something brewing over there. I don't know what maybe Mike's slipping them some of his secret stuff, but
I'm
he's
not sure.
he's got something brewing over there, and I think this is going to be a big year for that team.
I don't think it's
All right,
Bubba at the
so-
front, so.
So my picks, and fourth in the championship standings, I have the 17 of Chris Buescher. In
And
third
Buescher.
place,
Okay.
in third
Awesome,
place,
good
I
job.
have the 6 of Brad Keselowski.
Don't call it a comeback.
And second place, I have the 12 of Ryan Blaney.
Trying to go for a
the-
repeat.
And for the championship, I have the 24 of William Byron getting his redemption from 2023.
Ooh. That guy was the most consistent driver in all of 2023.
Yep.
Call me
I
wrong.
think you're. No, I don't think you're wrong at all. I don't think you're wrong at all.
Well,
I can
He's
see
a
it.
wheel-
The only thing
He's
is
the wheel man.
he is a wheel man. It's just we don't know what these other manufacturer cars are going to be like, and even though Chevy will have the early advantage, I think there's going to be some advantages that pop up later with the other manufacturers, and that's why I was kind of leaning more towards 2311. I think the way that the new Toyota is being built,
So-
just looking at the aerodynamics of how the car looks and things like that,
Which
I think Toyota is going to be the ultimate advantage for the late half.
I actually was just looking at pictures of that new Toyota.
Toyota.
Yeah, like 2 hours ago, and yeah, it looks a little different. It looks a little stockier, a little
Which
beefier.
Toyota are they using right now?
Toyota is moving to the new Camry this year.
Okay.
They're trying to make it look more like the stock
The
Camry.
XSC.
So I had a question. Do you
Go
think
for
they're ever going to add another manufacturer ever?
Yes.
Yes, I would say so.
And who do you think it would be? Honestly, I think either Nissan or Honda. I think another foreign one would be nice.
You know what's
Yeah,
pissing me off is Dodge should come back. Fucking Dodge should have always been on there.
And I don't think Dodge will because they're going all electric.
I know, and that's what's wrong. Everybody's
I-
going sideways, and they're all woke. We just need to build fucking race cars. Just fucking race
I
cars.
I believe after 2025 and the new TV rights deal gets put in place and stuff, 2026, I believe we'll see probably Honda enter the sport.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I agree with you totally. I think
What car
that's
do you
going
think
to
they'll
happen.
use?
I think that's going to happen 100%.
They'll probably use the Accord body style because that's technically their quote unquote full size sedan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But I
all right,
think it's
gentlemen.
good stuff, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
they definitely need more manufacturers. They need more exposure.
Well, all right, gentlemen, that will conclude tonight's episode. I appreciate you guys coming on. It was a very successful first episode.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
is fun. I look forward to continuing this every Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And with that, we will see you guys next Wednesday night.
All right. Take it easy,
1,
gentlemen.
2, 3. Deuces.
Deuces.
Deuces!